Meeting come to order, please. Thank you. Press your present button. Try again, Sharon. That do make a difference. You're good. Thank you. Staff announcements.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple of brief announcements. First of all, we do have a withdrawal. That would be item 28, final plat for Rock Hill Farms. Secondly, we would like to request your indulgence on a non-agenda item. It has to do with addition to Brins Valley Section 2. This thing has gone through its bond period and is just about ready to make the county road list if we get out of the way. It wasn't on the agenda by an oversight on our behalf, and we would appreciate y'all's efforts in helping us fix that.
Without objection, item 31. Good.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
Thank you. Consideration of the minutes. Any corrections? Minutes of October 13th, 2016. Any corrections? Motion? Second. Motion made and seconded. Prepare to vote. Vote now. Record it. Motion carries. Thank you. Consideration of the consent agenda. For those of you on the commission, anyone you wish to pull for separate discussion, please say so now or we'll take it as a whole. Anyone? None? Joe?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll begin with item 3, Arrington Vineyard Rural Retreat Maintenance Bond for Wastewater Treatment Disposal, $21,825. Recommendation, release the bond. Bell Pond Maintenance Bond for Roads, Drainage, Erosion Control, $45,000. Recommendation, reduced amount of $30,000 and extend for a period of 1 year. Item 5, Bell Vista, Section 8, Maintenance Bond for Wastewater Collection System, $32,400. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 6, Brins Valley Addition, Section 1, Maintenance Bond for Roads, Drainage, and Erosion Control, $75,000. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 7, Chardonnay, Section 5, Maintenance Bond for Landscaping, $3,765. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 8, Chardonnay, Section 6, Maintenance Bond for Landscaping, $3,855. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 9, Grace Chapel Parking Lot Addition, Performance Bond for Landscaping, $24,200. Recommendation, convert to maintenance, the amount of $7,260 and extend for a period of 6 months. Item 10, Hillsborough Cove Performance Bond for Landscaping, $47,700. Recommendation, defer to the December 2016 meeting. Item 11, Kings Chapel Section 3B Performance Bond for Wastewater Collection System, $17,500. Recommendation, convert to maintenance, the amount of $5,250 and extend for a period of 2 years. Item 12, Kings Chapel Section 3C Performance Bond for Wastewater Collection System, $12,500. Recommendation, extend in current amount for a period of 1 year. Item 13, Kings Chapel Section 4B Performance Bond for Wastewater Collection System, $67,500. Recommendation, convert to maintenance, amount of $20,250 and extend for a period of 2 years. Item 14, Kings Chapel Section 5 Performance Bond for Wastewater Collection System, $70,000. Recommendation, convert to maintenance, amount of $21,000 and extend for a period of 2 years. Item 15, Kings Chapel Section 7 Performance Bond for Wastewater Collection System, $92,500. Recommendation, convert to maintenance in the amount of $27,750 and extend for a period of 2 years. Item 16, Leapers Fork Distillery Performance Bond for Landscaping, $66,100. Convert to maintenance in the amount of $19,380 and extend for a period of 6 months. Item 17, On Track Studios Performance Bond for Landscaping, $32,065. Recommendation, defer to the December 2016 meeting. Item 18, Silverstream Farm, Section 4A, Maintenance Bond for Roads, Drainage, and Erosion Control, $7,000. Recommendation, defer to the January 2017 meeting. Item 19, Silverstream Farm, Section 4C, Maintenance Bond for Roads, Drainage, and Erosion Control, $25,000. Recommendation, extend in current amount for a period of 1 year. Item 20, The Grove, Section 5, performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control, $600,000, I beg your pardon. Convert to maintenance amount of $300,000 and extend for a period of 1 year. Item 21, The Grove, maintenance bond for water, $28,000. Recommendation, this bond was released November 2, 2016. And item 22, Vintage Construction, maintenance bond for landscaping, $7,800. Recommendation, release the bond.
Question on consent. Motion. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Prepare to vote. Vote now. Don? No, I was. Take over for me just a minute, please.
Concept plan review for Brick Church Farms containing 18 lots on 28 acres located off of Nolensville Road in the 5th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting concept approval for this 18-lot subdivision in the Rural Development 1 zoning district. The review of a concept plan is the first stage in the development approval process. The site in question totals approximately 28 acres and is located on the west side of Nolensville Road, approximately 1/2 mile north of its intersection with Murfreesboro Road. Property is relatively flat, and the natural resource protection standards of the zoning ordinance have been met. The proposed development consists of, of 18 lots, each being greater than 1 acre in size. 25% of the site will be preserved in open space. Access to the proposed development will be provided from a single entrance on Nolensville Road, which is classified as an arterial roadway by the Major Thoroughfare Plan. The traffic shed analysis performed by the applicant indicates that the proposed number of lots is within acceptable limits based upon the capacity of the existing roadways. The Tennessee Department of Transportation has reviewed the proposal and has indicated that the location entrance is acceptable. Water service will be provided by Nolensville College Grove Utility District, while wastewater will be handled via individual septic systems. At the time of this writing, the Department of Sewage Disposal Management is still evaluating the request. Approval is expected by meeting date. Staff recommends approval of this concept plan. It should be noted that once detailed construction and engineering plans are prepared, in conjunction with the submittal of a preliminary plat, changes to the layout, including the potential for a reduction of lots, may be necessary. A number of items must be addressed with future submittals. Preliminary plat must address the following. Number 1, TDOT approval for any roadway improvements to Nolensville Road. Number 2, submission of roads, drainage, and erosion control plans for review and approval by the county engineer. Number 3, submission of water plans for review and approval by Nolensville College Grove Utility District. Mr. Vice Chairman, there is a typographical error on this report that I'm reading, and we'll have that corrected for the record. Final plat must address the following. Number 1, prior to consideration of the final plat approval, the applicant shall submit HOA documents for review and approval by the county attorney's office. The approved HOA documents must be recorded prior to the recording of the final plat. Number 2, establishment of a performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control. Number 3, establishment of a performance bond for water improvements in favor of Nolensville College Grove Utility District. Number 4, submission of landscaping plans and establishment of a performance bond for landscaping. Number 5, dedication of right-of-way 60 feet off the center line of Nolensville Road. Number 6, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And number 7, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat. Mr. Chairman, one additional item. The Department of Sewage Disposal Management has approved the request.
Go ahead, finish it up.
Okay, and do you have the correction? Would you tell us what the correction, make sure it's plain to everyone?
The report indicates that it's for number 3 under the preliminary plat, that is submission of the water plans for approval by Mill Crofton Utility District. That should read Nolensville College Grove Utility District, and we will correct the report and enter into the record appropriately.
No questions? Do we have a motion?
Move for approval per staff recommendation. Second.
Motion and a second, and that's including the correction on item 3? Thank you. All in favor, signify. Oh, I'm sorry. Please vote now. Submit the vote. Motion passes. Thank you.
Agenda item 24, concept plan review for Waterleaf Revised containing 24 lots on 49 acres located off of Goosey Hill Road. Goosey Hill Road. Get it wrong every time. Goosey Hill Road in the 12th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A concept plan for this development was approved at the June 2015 meeting. The applicant is now requesting approval of a revised concept plan in order to add 2 additional lots to Section 2 of the subdivision. Open space requirements have been met, and the traffic analysis provided indicates the addition of 2 lots will not result in deterioration of the level of service. No other changes are proposed. Staff recommends approval of this revised concept plan with the same stipulations established in conjunction with the June 2015 approval.
A motion? Three motions and a second. Which one did you second? Thank you, both of them. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Prepare to vote. Vote now. Record it. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 25, preliminary plat. Reconsideration of preliminary plat for Lookaway Farms Phase 1 containing 47 lots on 47 acres located off Clovercroft Road in the 5th voting district in order to modify stipulations of approval. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The preliminary plat for this phase of the development was approved by this body in September of 2015. The applicant is now requesting reconsideration of the preliminary plat in order to alter the stipulation of approval that specified that a final plat cannot be submitted until the off-site roadway improvements, including turn lane improvements on Clovercroft Road, are completed. This is a standard stipulation of approval that is applied to developments where off-site improvements are required. In this instance, the turn lane into the site has been constructed. However, upon inspection by the county engineer and highway superintendent, it was noted that adequate site distance has not been achieved. The applicant will address this issue by lowering the roadway surface on a short segment of Clovercroft Road, which will increase site distance to a satisfactory level. However, until that work is complete and adequate site distance is achieved, staff does not consider the turn lane improvement to be complete. The applicant is requesting that the stipulation in question be altered so as to require completion of the off-site improvements prior to recordation of the final plat instead of completion of those improvements prior to submittal of the final plat. Revised construction plans reflecting this additional work have been approved. The county highway superintendent is in agreement with these modifications, which can be accomplished within the current right-of-way. As such, staff is not opposed to the request. If this body is inclined to support the request, staff recommends reapproval of this preliminary plat with the following revised stipulations, which must be addressed in conjunction with final plat consideration. 1, prior to signature and recording of the plat, the off-site improvements, including turn lane improvements on Clovercroft Road, as specified in the traffic impact analysis review letter from the county's traffic engineering consultant, must be completed in accordance with the approved plans. 2, prior to final plat submittal, a zoning certificate must be obtained for the completed wastewater treatment and disposal system. Prior to issuance of the zoning certificate, the applicant shall provide the following: a letter from TDEC indicating that the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system was installed and is functioning, as-built drawings showing the location of all system components, and a sealed certification letter from the design engineer indicating that the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system was constructed in accordance with the approved construction plans and specifications. A letter from the owner/utility provider indicating that it has accepted the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system and is currently operating same. The posting of a performance bond in the amount of $142,500 for the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system as specified by the county's wastewater consultant, and the posting of a performance bond in the amount of $18,920 for landscaping improvements associated with the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system. 3, prior to consideration of final plat approval, the applicant shall submit HOA documents for review and approval by the county attorney's office. The approved HOA documents must be recorded prior to recording of the final plat. 4, establishment of a performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control. 5, establishment of a performance bond for water improvements in favor of Millcrofton Utility District. 6, establishment of a performance bond for the wastewater collection system. 7, submission of landscaping plans and establishment of a performance bond for landscaping. 8, dedication of right-of-way 36 feet off the center line of Clovercroft Road. 9, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And 10, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff?
Go ahead, Don. Go ahead.
I've got a question. Now, is this pertaining to the eastern entrance or the western entrance to the subdivision?
It's the eastern.
Well, I think the western entrance is in by far the worst position. You're right in the center of an S-curve, and I don't see how we can ever approve a subdivision that puts an entrance to a subdivision in right in the middle of an S-curve. There's no sight distance at all on that entrance.
They've shown that they've got adequate sight distance, Pete, and
I don't doubt they.
that road is not, you know, that intersection is not in place yet. I mean, we'll be checking it when they get it constructed to make sure it's got the adequate sight distance. But I mean, what they've shown on the design plans show that they have it.
Were they reconstructing Clovercroft?
No.
How did they achieve it?
In the S curve, he's talking about, that's a horizontal curve. You can still see the adequate distance in that horizontal curve. It's not a vertical curve that limits your sight distance.
That was my question of Mike. Is that a vertical curve that's a problem there, or?
With this one, it is.
Is that where the construction traffic's gonna come and go?
What did he say? Do you know that?
The construction traffic is going to use the eastern entrance. I mean, that's what they've been using. But
Is that what we're talking about here tonight?
Yeah.
And it has poor sight distance?
Right now it does. It only had about 300 feet from what we could measure, and it needs about 355 feet.
And they wanna go ahead with poor sight distance?
They're talking to contractors, and at this point I feel like the applicant should probably address where they are with their
Is the applicant here?
contractor.
SDC. Our clients are in the process of getting bids to address the situation. I believe they've got it down to 1 or 2 contractors that's going to do the work here in the next few weeks to fix the problem.
What's the time schedule?
It'll take about 2 weeks to construct.
Did you wish to say anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Comments? Pete, what about the sight distance on this other entrance? Is it that bad?
Do what?
The sight distance on the other entrance?
On the eastern entrance, the sight distance, is he gonna lower both lanes of Clovercroft Road? And he's gonna lower Tullis Road that comes in at the same spot? There's gonna be more to it than just a little bit of grading there. The entirety of Clovercroft Road is gonna have to be addressed, and Tullis Road intersection with Clovercroft Road is gonna have to be addressed there too.
That's gonna make all those travelers on Clovercroft happy, isn't
So
it?
it's gonna make Nissan and Saturn people pretty mad for a month or two there, I'm pretty sure, which will be good for the rest of us.
Other comments? Ed?
Yeah, my question is, I guess, if the sight distance is not adequate now and you got construction traffic, that would be kinda dangerous.
You think we're better to get it fixed quickly?
Better to get it fixed quickly and then,
I understand.
Yeah, right now, you shouldn't have any construction traffic going in there because, we haven't done the final plat, so there's no lots created, so there's no home construction, and they're done with the road construction. So all we're talking about is the hill approaching the eastern entrance from the east. There's no projected work at the other entrance, except connecting the subdivision.
Don?
With the, sitting here and the questions that are coming into place, I'd like to make a motion that we require the off-site improvements be made prior to the preliminary plat, so we can see what we have once it's installed and in place, because it sounds like there's a lot of questions on site distances at this point.
I think you need to include staff's recommendations in that, Mr. Crohan.
That's fine, the staff's
Oh,
recommendation.
it's preliminary?
Yeah.
My
but
fault.
But with the staff's recommendation, with the exception that I think the preliminary plat, the off-site improvement should be made prior to the preliminary plat.
Well, you mean prior to the final plat?
No, you have it here for the final plat. I think we need to, this is for a preliminary plat here right now, and I think before the preliminary plat, we ought to have the site.
Well, the preliminary plat has already been approved.
This is a reapproval of a previously approved preliminary plat, right, Mike?
That's correct, yes, sir.
So is the only change is the sight distance issue, or are the other things on the back
No,
different?
that's the only change. So just to recap, they got a preliminary plat approved already, and one of the conditions of approval is that they couldn't submit a final plat until that turn lane improvement was constructed.
Yeah.
And
but
they
it-
constructed the turn lane, but then it was noticed that sight distance still isn't achieved, and so they have to do some additional work. And so they've requested reconsideration of the preliminary plat to alter the condition to allow the final plat to be submitted, but have it not be recorded until that work is complete. That's their request.
I guess my question is, instead of amending this, if we just voted it down, that
That's my point.
it would leave everything as been approved except for the site distance.
I would say that's correct. They would rely on the preliminary plat approval that already exists.
Okay.
Including improvement to the site distance?
Well, they wouldn't be able to submit the final plat until that site distance issue is corrected.
Okay.
And that was my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion was to deny, correct?
Well, I didn't make a motion. To me, if you just vote against it as submitted, that would accomplish what we're
His
trying to
motion,
do.
I think, was denied, right, Don?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And we have a second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, can I clarify, the motion was to deny this request as presented? I thought I understood you to approve it, but with the previous condition
No,
reinstated.
if you deny this, we've already got the previous conditions in there.
I understand, but that's not what I understood the motion as stated, so that's what I'm trying to clarify.
No, ma'am, it's to deny this, to go back to our original, stay with the original preliminary plat.
With the original
Site distance
conditions,
is taken care of.
with the original, all the original conditions,
Correct.
and that's what your second is. Okay, just clarifying, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
So if you vote yes, you're denying it.
Correct.
Okay.
You have a tendency to vote no, but you
Yeah.
gotta vote yes on this one. You're
That's-
right.
That's where my confusion.
If that's what you want to do. Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. Prepare to vote, and vote now. Record it. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 26, preliminary plat review for McDaniel Farms, Phase 1, containing 43 lots on 226 acres located off McDaniel Road in the 5th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A concept plan for this development was approved at the August 2016 meeting. The applicant is now requesting preliminary plat approval for the first phase of the development, which consists of 43 lots and approximately 193 acres of open space. The preliminary plat is consistent in overall layout with that depicted on the concept plan. As was mentioned at the concept plan stage, the applicant is requesting a right-of-way of 40 feet in order to accommodate sidewalks outside of the right-of-way. The applicant is also requesting a design speed of 25 miles per hour for roadways within the development. Staff is in support of these requests. Staff recommends approval of this preliminary plat. In conjunction with the the final plat consideration, the following items must be addressed. Number 1, prior to final plat submittal, a zoning certificate must be obtained for the completed wastewater treatment and disposal system. Prior to the issuance of the zoning certificate, the applicant shall provide the following. A letter from TDEC indicating that said system was installed and is functioning. B, as-built drawings showing the location of all system components and a sealed certification letter from the design engineer indicating that said system was constructed in accordance with the approved construction plans and specifications. C, a letter from the owner/utility provider indicating that it has accepted said system and is currently operating same. D, the posting of a performance bond for the additional treatment and disposal component addition in the amount of $183,208, and E, the posting of a performance bond in the amount of $4,125 for landscaping improvements. Number 2, prior to consideration of the final plat, the applicant shall submit HOA documents for review and approval by the county attorney's office. The HOA documents must be submitted with the final plat and the approved HOA documents recorded prior to the recording of the final plat. 3, establishment of a performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control. 4, establishment of a performance bond for water improvements in favor of Millcrofton Utility District. 5, establishment of a performance bond for the wastewater collection system. 6, submission of landscaping plans and establishment of a performance bond for landscaping. 7, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And 8, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Questions of staff? Comments? Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? I hear none. Prepare to vote. Vote now. Record it. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 27, preliminary plat review for Stevens Valley Phase 1 containing 88 lots on 49 acres located off Pasquo Road in the 9th voting district. Staff?
A concept plan for this development was approved by this body at the April 2016 meeting. The applicant is now requesting preliminary plat approval for Phase 1 of the development, which includes 88 lots and approximately 24 acres of open space. The preliminary plat is consistent in layout with and substantially conforms to the approved concept plan. At their October meeting, the County Highway Commission approved the design plans for the off-site roadway improvements required in conjunction with this stage of the development, as specified in the traffic impact study review findings of the county's traffic engineering consultant, which were incorporated into the stipulations of concept plan approval. These improvements include the Williamson County portion of the left turn lane into the development and the turn lane improvements at the intersection of Sneed Road and Timberline Drive. As reflected on the approved concept plan, the applicant is requesting a right-of-way width of 40 feet in order to locate sidewalks outside of the right-of-way. Staff is in support of this request. Staff recommends approval of this preliminary plat. In conjunction with final plat consideration, the following items must be addressed. 1, prior to final plat submittal, off-site roadway improvements required in association with individual sections of the development as stipulated in the traffic impact study review findings provided by the county's traffic engineering consultant must be completed in accordance with the approved plans. 2, prior to submittal of a final plat for the section of the development that includes the lots between Trace Creek and the Timberline subdivision, the specific method for ensuring emergency access must be installed and deemed operational by the county's emergency management department. 3, prior to the submittal of a final plat that includes the 20th lot in the development, the applicant shall provide a written agreement with St. Matthew Catholic School relative to the developer providing a traffic control officer per the recommendation letter from the county's traffic consultant. If such an agreement cannot be reached, the completion of the left turn lane improvements at both Sneed Road approaches to the Timberline Drive intersection, as specified in attachment 27-3, must be accelerated to coincide with the submittal of a final plat that includes the 20th lot. 4, prior to consideration of final plat approval, the applicant shall submit HOA documents for review and approval by the county attorney's office. These HOA documents shall specifically address maintenance of the private alleys as well as the emergency access to Timberline Drive. The approved HOA documents must be recorded prior to the recording of the final plat. 5, establishment of performance bonds for roads, drainage, and erosion control. 6, establishment of a performance bond for water and sewer improvements in favor of Harpeth Valley Utilities District. 7, submission of landscaping plans and establishment of a performance bond for landscaping, which shall include any bond required by the National Park Service related to the Natchez Trace Parkway reforestation plan. 8, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And 9, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you, sir. The applicant wish to address the commission?
Yes, sir. Alan
You have the
Thompson
floor.
with, oh, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Commissioner and members of the commission. I'm Alan Thompson with Reagan Smith here on behalf of Rochford Development and Land Innovation, our client. We agree to all conditions of approval and would appreciate your support and happy to answer any questions that you have.
Questions of the applicant? Anyone? Anything else?
No, sir.
No questions. Thank you.
Thanks.
Discussion? Sammy?
The Sneed Road and Hillsborough Road, is the signal timing changes taking place there, or is that part of this?
That the initial signal timing changes have taken place.
Okay.
We had a motion. Is there a second? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Yes, sir.
Are all off-sites improvements that were laid out that first big plan, are they tied to certain sections or so many houses
Yes.
all along the way so that
It's staged all the way through the development.
so staff can keep up with them all?
I think they can.
Okay,
Mike assured me they can. Anything else? We have a motion and a second. Prepare to vote. Vote now. Record it. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 28 was withdrawn. Agenda item 29, establishment of a landscaping bond for Bruce Yazdian, property on 4.88 acres located at 8327 Horton Highway in the 5th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On October 27, 2016, the Board of Zoning Appeals approved a special use permit for the operation of a mixed-use multi-tenant development on the subject property, and a site plan for the use has been reviewed by staff. However, due to the cost of installing the required landscaping and pursuant to Section 16.07 of the zoning ordinance, the landscaping bond must be established by the Planning Commission prior to final plan approval by staff. Staff recommends the establishment of a performance bond for landscaping in the amount of $7,750.
You want any change on that?
No.
I'm being facetious. Motion made, is there a second? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Prepare to vote. Vote now. Record it. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 30, establishment of landscaping bond for Finley Ridge Equestrian Facility on 44.83 acres located at 2650 Finley Ridge Lane in the 5th Voting District. Staff?
On October 27th, 2016, the Board of Zoning Appeals approved a special use permit for the operation of an equestrian facility on the subject property, and a site plan for this use has been reviewed by staff. However, due to the cost of installing the required landscaping and pursuant to Section 16.07 of the zoning ordinance, the landscaping bond must be established by the Planning Commission prior to final site plan approval by staff. Staff recommends the establishment of a performance bond for landscaping in the amount of $5,830.
Questions, staff? Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Prepare to vote. Record it. Motion carries. Thank you. Non-agenda item, agenda item 31, bond for Brent's Valley. That's the extent of my knowledge. Who's got that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Staff has noted that the improvements in this section of the development are complete. The Williamson County Highway Commission and the County Commission have approved acceptance of the streets in this section for maintenance by the county. Staff recommends that this bond be released. Mr. Chairman, I might add, this was just inadvertently left off of the agenda, and we didn't realize it until after the agenda had been published.
I understand. Thank you, sir. Do a motion? And a second, or two motions? Thank you. Any further discussion? Let's vote. Vote now. Jack? Record it. Motion carries. Any other business? Sir?
I'd like to say something, like to make a suggestion too.
All right.
This week, we received notice that the office and the commission had established 2 books in the library in honor of our daughters that granddaughters got killed. I'd just like to thank everybody for doing it and appreciate that.
You're mighty welcome.
And I'd like to make a suggestion of something else. The planning agenda comes out online usually a week or 2 before we get notice of it. And when it does, I usually get 1 or 2 calls about such and such item at such and such place. Would it be possible for y'all to put the GIS address of each thing coming before the agenda on your planning agenda so that people knows exactly that it's at 3827 such and such road or 8492 such and such road? Every piece of property in the county, I guess, has a GIS location, doesn't it?
There's always a map and parcel involved, and sometimes there are multiple.
People out here in the country don't know map and parcel numbers, they know road addresses.
If it's vacant, there's not always an address necessarily, but yeah, we'll try to identify it a little bit.
People ask me a lot about that, and I don't know where a lot of these things is until I find it on myself.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
And I think it'd make it easier on all of us on the planning staff if you do something like that.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Anything else? Thank you, Pete. Motion to adjourn? We're adjourned. Thank you.